Welcome back to more The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Last time we got through more of the Great Bay Temple, so this time we're finishing up the dungeon. We managed to reverse the flow of the water, so let's hop in and see where it takes us. From here, we want to swim through the middle pathway, and we actually passed through here before already by going the opposite way. There were the two hands and the jar that had a stray fairy, but now we can go to this room with some mines and a water wheel. The water wheel powers some moving platforms that we can use to navigate this area. Let's see if we can make the cycle. Barely missed it, unfortunately. So now we have to wait for it to sink back down. Once the platform rises up, we can actually use it to jump to another moving platform that's actually going back and forth horizontally. This can be a little bit tricky to time this, to be honest. And now we can use the hook shot to get into this alcove. You found the stray fairy, this is your 10th one. Now we want to swim back over to the platform, but this time, instead of jumping across, I want to freeze the water when it reaches its maximum height. Now we can jump down onto the water wheel and climb up this side to give us enough height to actually hookshot over here. You found the stray fairy, this is your 11th one. As a heads up, this water wheel actually works differently in the Japanese version. In that version, you actually have to time your ice arrows. Otherwise, it might be at an odd angle that prevents you from actually moving across this platform to the door. In the international version, it'll slow down, so this will always be horizontal. Next up, we want to sink underneath this platform to find another barrel. You found a stray fairy, this is your 12th one. Here we have a ton of seesaw platforms, and using the fire arrows, we can actually melt some ice to provide enough pressure to weigh down the platforms. So now we can hop over here and do that again. And now we can hop over to this switch. This next part is a bit scary. We want to go across this pipe specifically as a Zora because we need the extra height to actually climb up to the top of this pipe, but there's a bomb chute to watch out for. Here, we want to basically drop down a little bit further on and then hookshot across. You found a stray fairy, this is your 13th one. If you fall at any point during that sequence, you'll have to refreeze the water in order to weigh the platforms down so you can actually get back onto them and then try again, like having to remelt everything basically. So I'm glad that went relatively smoothly. So let's melt the final bit of ice here. And now we can hop over to this exit and see where this takes us. We're back in the room with the dungeon map, and thankfully, the entrance is now an exit, since we changed the water flow. So now we can go through here and end up in the main chamber, and now we have to swim to the bottom and go through the final path we haven't explored yet. Alright, so this will take us to the end of the temple. Obviously, we're not quite done yet because there are still stray fairies left. Let's actually get some magic back. We'll need a lot coming up shortly. This stray fairy, you can either swim for it, or you can use the Great Fairy's Mask to basically fish it out of this tunnel, which is what we'll opt to do. And the final stray fairy is underneath this final switch. So let's actually swim up here. Let's swap over to regular arrows. Let's equip the Great Fairy's Mask to, I guess C down is fine. And then we'll collect the final 2 stray fairies of this temple. And all that's left after this will be the boss. You found a stray fairy. This is your 14th one. You found all the stray fairies. Quick, take them to their fellow fairies of the same color. So, let's go up this pipe to our final switch. And now that the water flow is restored, we can hop over to the boss door. Before we enter, I do want to actually equip the Zora Mask to see down. This is the Gargantuan Masked Fish Gjorg. It'll attack us a few different ways. If we're on land, it'll charge into the platform to knock us into the water, or it'll lunge out to try to attack us directly. I'm a little bit worried about how this fight's going to go. We can stun it with arrows or the Zora boomerangs, though the arrows give you a bit more range. And we can use the Zora form, specifically the shield, to deal damage. You can't get 2 hits, but it's a little bit finicky. Now we want to quickly climb back on to the platform. Let's try this again. And that's why you don't want to linger in the water. But now there are smaller fish that can also attack us. Let's stun it again. And that's why I wanted fairies for this temple. Alright, let's try to get back onto the platform, stun it one more time, and one more hit should be enough, actually. Other than that being our first death of the playthrough, that actually went really well. I almost expected to use both fairies for this fight. Also worth mentioning, in the 3DS version, the entire second phase is completely different, where in the first phase you have to use arrows and then attack an eye, as usual, but the second phase involves the platform going away, and you have to fight Georg underwater by basically cutting the chains of mines while it's trying to inhale you, and then when it inhales a mine, an eye will appear and then you can attack it. So it's one of the more drastically changed fights in the 3DS version, and is actually my least favorite fight in the 3DS version, so even though this fight isn't too difficult, I actually prefer this fight considerably compared to the 3DS version. You've seized Georg's remains. You have just freed the innocent spirit that this dark mask had kept imprisoned within the body of evil Georg. Hey, listen! We want you to lend us your power. If you just leave things as they are, something terrible will happen to this world. Surely you're the only ones who can stop it. That's what Tail was trying to tell us. Help our friend. I get it. We have to help the last one. Then promise us this. You'll cooperate with us. Now I can continue resting in peace. I too must abide the laws of ancient times, and again merely watch from my deep slumber. But the evil that haunts this land has not completely vanished, Link. I shall depart after enjoying Lulu's voice a bit longer. I think the gods can permit that. Yeah. And with that, we have saved the Great Bay region. Before we bid farewell to the Zora region, let's actually pay a visit to Lulu. Mikau, you came back safely. That's good. I was surprised when my voice turned that lonely island into a turtle. But that song you played for me, my mother used to sing it often, long ago. Those eggs were laid to remind me of that. That song was from when I was a very young child, so I'd forgotten it. I've put you through some horrible experiences, Mikau. But I'm all better now. Well, the town's concert is very soon. Let's start a rehearsal. One, 2, 3. I guess being able to sing is a wonderful thing after all. Hey, Mikau! That song Evan wrote sounds just like the one we played at our jam session, doesn't it? I'm glad I got this new song done in time for the concert. You did great, Mikau, and even without any practice. You really are a musical genius. And with that, we're all ready. I can't wait for the town's concert. And with that, we are ready to leave the Zora Hall. There actually isn't a whole lot to do when you actually save the Great Bay region, but there are a couple things that we need to take care of. Once again, dodging the like. When I say a couple, there's actually a couple things we could do, but one involves a piece of heart, so there's actually only one thing to do, meaning this area, despite all the setup, is surprisingly easy to get through when you're done with all the setup. Because yeah, there's not a ton to actually see when you're actually through with the actual main dungeon. We have a rock here. Let's actually blow this up because I'm curious. Alright, if we blow up this boulder, we have a secret entrance. In here we have a ton of Deku Babas in case you need Deku Sticks or Deku Nuts, and we have a chest. We also have a bug on the ground, and this may seem arbitrary, but I actually want to pick this up. You caught a bug in a bottle. Use C to release it. Bugs like to burrow in small holes. There's actually a couple here, so let's pick up all of them. You caught a bug in a bottle. Use C to release it. Bugs like to burrow in small holes. You caught a bug in a bottle. Use C to release it. Bugs like to burrow in small holes. You got a bomb shoe. Set it to C left, C down, or C right on the item selection screen. Press C to arm this wall-climbing bomb. Tap C again to launch it. So yeah, that's a pretty cool item, the Bomb Shoe, returning from Ocarina of Time. Alright, that's actually everything to see here. with a ton of bugs in hand, this will make sense later, I promise, we want to basically island hop for a bit. We can use the hook shot to actually latch onto the trees in this area and make our way over to the other side of this area. Again, depending on your exact stipulations for a 3-heart run, you might opt out of actually getting this next item, but since we have all the stray fairies, we might as well go over here and see what we can find. Alright, can we make this jump as a human? Let's try. There we go, and it looks like we need bombs again to break open the entrance to the fairy fountain. Oh, courageous young one, I'm the Great Fairy of Courage. Thank you for returning my broken and shattered body to normal. As thanks, I shall lend you my strength. Your defense has been strengthened. Enemies now do half as much damage as before. Come see me whenever you are overcome by weariness. And this is why this particular upgrade is a little bit debated in terms of like 3-heart runs, because technically we still have 3 hearts, but we also have double defense, giving us essentially more health in a roundabout way. But with that, again, technically we still have 3 hearts, so it's still a valid run in some ways, but again, there is definitely multiple interpretations for this game in particular because of how many optional items there are. A lot of flexibility in how you want to structure such a thing, but with that taken care of, that's everything in this region, actually. More specifically, that's everything in this region that requires defeating Georg. Technically, there's still one more thing to do, but 1, you actually don't need to fight Georg for it, and 2, we would only be able to do this on the first day. The reward is not there on day 2, so we're kind of out of luck with that anyway. But there is still one more thing I want to do now that we have the hook shot. A particular area that we passed by much earlier is actually really easy now. So let's actually warp to somewhere, either the Southern Swamp or Woodfall. First of all, I kind of wanted to test something out for fun, actually. I wanted to see if... I'm pretty sure you can actually use arrows to defeat Octoroks, so I just wanted to double check for my own curiosity. It occurs to me that actually doesn't do much good for us because the water is still poisonous over there. So yeah, we actually do have to warp to the Woodfall Temple. from here, we actually have a bit of a hike now that I think about it. Again, it almost feels like there's not really any good way to get through this area, actually. We have to make our way back over to the entrance to basically near where the Deku Palace entrance is, and then drop down. Also, this is basically where you get the Song of Soaring, now that I think about it. I wish there was actually a warp there, but oh well. Again, this is actually not the most convenient place to get to, especially on an early part of the cycle like this. Or not an early part, but like... oh. Okay, we saved it. Not an early part per se, but like a part where you actually can't access certain things. Wow, that's actually too far away to jump to. That's interesting. And definitely good to know for the future. Let's try this again. Much better. Now let's skip over. Again, we're trying to get back to the southern swamp, but the opposite side where all the poison is, which is definitely not the easiest place to get to apparently. Alright, so we're good to go. From here, we want to basically go backwards towards where the palace shortcut was. Eventually we'll pass by a place that we actually saw a while ago, back during our first visit here, but now that we have the hookshot in particular, we'll have a much easier time with one thing in particular. Yeah, it's over there by the torch you might see in the distance. Well, let's actually land somewhere here. This is fine, I hope. There we go. Let's hop over. And let's spin across. You could either use torches or fire arrows for this. Ah, help me! I am not a monster! The spider's curse. It made me this way. I beg of you, in here, find them all. The gold ones. The cursed spiders. Defeat them, quickly! And when you defeat them, don't forget the spider token. It contains the spider's spirit. If you lift the curse, I'll teach you something good. Hurry, please. This is awful. We'll be searching for the gold sculptulas within the Swamp Spider House next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.